Good evening, race fans, and welcome back. It's the season finale here at League Zero, the premier Formula iRacing league. We're here at Spa to cap off a great season. As always, I'm your host, James East, with Team Goon Squad Broadcasting, bringing the action 1080p 60 frames a second, as it looks like qualifying is wrapped up, and it is time to go racing. On pole, Elliott Cotti in the number 23. We've got Jaden Calloway starting second. Ray Aguilar starts third. AJ Brenner starting fourth. Shazi Zuhair starting fifth. Nick Peterson starting sixth. Michael Fairchild starts seventh. Leo Delma starting eighth. Kyle Deckard starting ninth. We've got the world-famous Aussie Gareth McAllister starting 10th. Craig Brick starting 11th. Evan Alexander starting 12th. Cycled on back, we've got Mr. Ryan Tebow starting 13th, Jace Meyer starting 14th, the Flying Frenchman, Xavier Zanave starting 15th, Zachary Bowman starts 16th, Adam Plunkett starting 17th, Matt Foster starts 18th, the Italian Stallion Antonio Bianchi starting 19th, Felipe Ramos starting 20th, and David Iezzi will round out the 21-car grid here today. Let us know where you're from, who you're cheering on, as we get ready to send them out for the final sprint race of the season. And here we go as the lights get ready to turn off. And we will send them out here. I already see somebody blinking. That's not a good sign. Historically, Spa has a little bit of carnage. I saw somebody butcher the start there. That was the newcomer, the Brit Elliott Cotti. And here we go. Carnage everywhere. Leo Delmas, Nick Peterson, Gareth McAllister, Kyle Deckard, Xavier Zanave, Antonio Bianchi, David Iezzi, Matt Foster, and that's going to bring out the caution here. Time to get the replay queued up as we're under eye-pacing conditions. We're focusing on Leo Delmas, the number 21 machine. Delmas goes off track. Just barely bumped into, I think that was Nick Peterson. And decided to go over him somehow. Gareth McAllister sitting there rethinking his life choices. Evan Alexander was one of the first drivers to take a tow back to pit road. He said, "See you later, guys. That was not fun." So Alexander, the bright red on the right side of your screen. Good God, Alexander had no idea. Did everything right, and still got absolutely collected there. That was Adam Plunkett who sent Evan Alexander back home early. And Hans. Bam! So that will be our first caution of the night. As we have broken something up here in the broadcast booth with the amount of carnage that we have seen here. So let's try and do a little bit of corrections up here in the booth. See if we can get that fixed. Get back to live timing. Huh. It's rare we crash something so badly that it breaks the broadcast software. Extremely impressive, really. Let's try one more thing here and see if we can get that going. Luckily, we are rolling around under eye-pacing conditions. we go, ladies and gentlemen. So we are behind the iRacing safety car. Andrew Gallagher saying Spa T1 is just like Monza T1. Nate showing his amusement. Name a more iconic duo. Spa and Turn 1 crashes. Now, while we are rolling around under eye-pacing conditions here, want to give a shout-out to tonight's sponsor, Mustard Seed Performance Engineering. They've got a YouTube as well as a Facebook page as well. We're going to link both of them here in the chat and the broadcast. Check out our friends over Mustard Seed Racing. They do a lot of sim shenanigans as well as some real-life driving. I believe some of those guys are also 24 hours of lemons experts. And sincerely good friends of ours over here at TGS as well as League Zero. So check out tonight's title sponsor, Mustard Seed Racing. So let's see, are we going to do another lap here? Or are we going to try and restart it here with just one lap of pacing? I'm curious to see. It's going to be Jaden Calloway up front. The list of drivers who had to retire early was Peterson, McAllister, Alexander, and Plunkett. Knocked out of this final sprint of the season. Curious to see if we do another lap of pacing here. If so, that's going to give me some time to go get some water up here in the broadcast booth. Looks like we're going to do another lap here behind the safety car. So I'll be right back, and we're going to go get some water. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with the Mustard Seed Racing backed final sprint race of the season. Just like that, we're back. Good to see the fans haven't burned anything down in my absence here. Uh-oh, Evan Alexander just let me know. Might have messed something up here in the broadcast booth. The stream title has been corrected to the Belgian Grand Prix because American broadcaster doesn't know where the tracks are. So thank you to the racers helping me out with that one. I'd be lost without these guys. Fun fact, fastest lap of the race just set by Matt Foster, a 351.75 under pacing. The drivers have another half lap to rethink their life choices here at the Belgian Grand Prix, sponsored by MSR, Mustard Seed Racing. So in what was already a short 10-lap race is going to get shortened even more here at Spa. So I think it's going to be a 6-lap shootout once we finally get these guys fired up. Again, 14 drivers of our 21 entries still out on track. And just about everybody's trying to keep some heat in the tires. It's going to be interesting to see how this one pans out. Now, it's going to be Callaway, Aguilar, Brenner, 1, 2, 3, Zuhair, and Kati running 4th and 5th. So we get ready for that iRacing safety car to come down pit road. And here we go for real this time. We're green flag racing here at the Belgian Grand Prix at Spa. Callaway up front, that's his favorite spot to be in that number 1 machine. But Callaway pushes a little bit wide there. It's going to give an opportunity to Aguilar. Working the inside line. It's going to be a drag race up the hill. Aguilar, your race leader, has pulled a 10th over Callaway. Brenner in 3rd. Has his teammate right ahead as we lose somebody off there. Couldn't quite see who that was. I think that was Elliott in the number 23 machine. And I think he just rejoined a hot track as Michael Fairchild sliding around. There's car parts scattered everywhere. What just happened there? We saw Elliott go careening around, but we're not quite sure how the car... Oh, that's how it exploded. My goodness! Push to pass still going. Poor Michael Fairchild had no idea what was happening there. And we are whittling down the field. 13 drivers on the lead lap. Excuse me, 13 drivers still out on track, I should more aptly say. Callaway still up front. Aguilar in hot pursuit. AJ Brenner in 3rd. You got Zuhair and Tebow hunting for a top 5, just inside the top 5. Now, I just saw briefly Zachary Bowman, the 96 machine, with an off track, but I didn't realize the 96 was out on track. So good to see Bowman, a late entry here tonight. Gotta agree with Spring Flower in the spectator area. Oh, goodness is probably the correct response to that. Tebow, Brick, Bianchi having a 3-car battle for the top 5 here. As Aguilar in the 2nd place spot just clicked off the fastest lap of the race, but it's answered by the Italian stallion, Antonio Bianchi. Bianchi looking in the inside line of Brick's number 7 machine. Not wanting to lose the draft of Ryan Tebow here as they blast up the hill. Bianchi on the push to pass, looking to keep that momentum. AJ Brenner has company in third, but look at Aguilar and Callaway side by side for the lead, narrowly avoiding contact there. Aguilar is going to take over the race lead from Callaway. Callaway falls back to second. Brenner holds on to third. Zuhair's been showing a lot more pace here lately, as it looks like Brick, Tebow, and Bianchi still going at it. And there's Zachary Bowman. We were just talking about him in the 96. He's up 8 spots already here tonight. So let's see, can Bowman keep the momentum going as we've got 5 laps left in this sprint? So let's go a little bit further back. David Iezzi has Felipe Ramos and Kyle Deckard in hot pursuit. Side by side, Ramos and Iezzi. Deckard looking for an opening here. Oh, a big blink there. Number 29 machine definitely has some connection issues and fights to keep the power down. Up front, it's still Aguilar, Callaway, and Brenner. But the draft makes it very difficult to break away. Now, Brenner sitting in third, just had the fastest lap of the race on 154.33, a clean lap with no off-track. And Aguilar and Callaway going to go side by side. Brenner and Zuhair side by side. So Callaway working the same pass against Aguilar that Aguilar did the lap prior. Both drivers recharging the push to pass. Brenner and Zuhair still about 1.3 seconds back from this battle for the lead. Let's see, does Aguilar wait for another lap after the start-finish line to try and take over the lead? It's definitely a game of cat and mouse. Nobody wants to be the race leader on the last lap historically at Spa. And a reminder as well to the fans, the sprint race finishing results set the stage for the feature. Callaway showing his prowess on 153.470. Something happened to Antonio Bianchi, showed him involved in an incident. Let's see where it was here. Looks like it's going to be a solo incident as well. Yeah, just pushes a little bit wide, misses the mark, loses 2 spots. And we wondered if Aguilar was going to make the move back. Yes was the answer. Brenner still holding on to that 3rd place spot with Zuhair in hot pursuit. Now, coming into tonight, we're fairly confident that Aguilar locked up the championship. He would have to really have 2 DNFs, and Callaway would have to have a perfect night if Callaway wanted a chance at the championship, as Callaway is 93 points back. Antonio Bianchi is trying to lock up 3rd in the championship here at Spa. Oh, but Bianchi's going to have more issues. And it's going to result in a tow back down pit road. Is it another solo incident? Yeah, it is. Bianchi just misses the mark there. Comes to a stop and takes a tow back to pit road. Very uncharacteristic. So let's see, is it going to be Callaway's turn to fire back against Aguilar? Brenner and Zuhair still lagging around about 1.3 seconds back from these top two. And you can already see Aguilar and Callaway playing a little bit of a game there of trying to break the draft. But there's a little bit of bumping and grinding at speeds of excess of 180 miles an hour. Callaway takes back over the race lead. Let's see, does Zuhair make a move? No, he's going to stay tucked in behind Brenner. Now, if we can keep this action up during a feature event as well, where we have twice the laps, twice the action, I am very excited to see how that's going to go. Saw a little bit of a lockup there from Zuhair. Really testing the limits of man and machine here. Now, with the draft, drivers are hitting speeds over 190 miles an hour here on the long stretch of Spa. Kyle Decker, Jace Meyer, they have a battle for 8th. Meyer is up 6 positions. Deckard running 9th, exactly where he qualified. Hard charger so far, David Iezzi in the 29. He's up 11 spots, running 10th. Now as we come back to the start-finish line, Callaway's keeping the pressure on Aguilar. We've got one more lap to go, and then the white flag will be displayed to our drivers. And then it is anybody's guess how this is going to break down. Brenner gained about 3-4 tenths of a second on that lap, catching back up to the race leaders, hovering right around that 1 second mark. But he's just slightly out of grasp of catching the draft of these top 2 drivers. If Brenner can catch the draft, he very much has a shot here. But Aguilar's on the push to pass. Gets off of it. Zuhair's on the push to pass. And that's going to tighten up the top 4 just a little bit. And Aguilar will continue to lead. So Callaway opted not to make a pass for the lead. I would not be surprised once the white flag is out for Callaway to make a big send of it. Now, we had a report Felipe Ramos has unfortunately crashed out in his Inca back number 73. A little bit of a lockup. Big spin. And unfortunately, that is enough to retire the 73. On board with Jaden Callaway. Oh, a little bit of a bobble there for Callaway. He cannot afford to lose the draft of Aguilar. And I think I saw Aguilar on the push to pass. Yeah, he's recharging now. Callaway's going to answer, hit the magic button on his own accord. Really closing the gap here to Aguilar, showing just how much that push to pass is worth. Callaway stays on the push to pass. Now there is a recharge. The white flag is out. You can see your second and third place drivers on the button. Aguilar, your race leader, and Zuhair in 4th, both in a recharge state. So I wonder if it was worth it for Callaway. Oh, but look at this. Aguilar's on the button. Who's got more left in the tank here? Callaway pulls up alongside Aguilar. Here comes AJ Brenner wanting a bit of the action. Has caught the lead drivers. Callaway takes over the race lead. Aguilar falls back into second. Brenner still holding on to that final podium spot. Everybody on the push to pass here. They have shaken off Shazi Zuhair. A big lock up there from Aguilar. They paid for all the push to pass, and they are going to use all the push to pass. Callaway's breaking away. He's got 6 tenths up over Aguilar. If Aguilar wants a shot of it, it's going to have to be here in this back stretch, but Callaway still has push to pass to spare. Looks like Brenner running out there. I think Callaway might have timed this perfectly. Still has plenty of push to pass left in reserve. And that is going to be enough to fend off Aguilar. What a game of chess here at Spa. Callaway still on the button. So unfortunately, Aguilar wasn't able to play it as well as Callaway. Callaway picks up the final sprint race win of the season, sets the fastest lap while doing so. Ray Aguilar gets second, and AJ Brenner rounds out the top three. So we're going to try and get our top three drivers up here to victory lane. And then we will get them in the booth, a brief intermission, and send them right back out on track for the season finale, the final feature event of the night. We've got Aguilar waiting on Callaway and Brenner here. Looks like we've got everybody. So we're going to start things off with Mr. AJ Brenner bringing it home in third. AJ able to close just about a 1.5 deficit those last couple laps and suddenly find yourself fighting for a lead here at Spa.
Yeah, Jaden and Ray kept on going back and forth, so it kind of got me back into the race a little bit there. Ended up having a overtake battle with Ray, and I ran out early, and he had about 40 seconds left. So at the end, we kind of just stuck with that, and we'll go back to the feature again.
Now, it seemed like the push to pass was vital in closing distances until you catch the draft, but once you get in the wake of somebody, does the push to pass really matter at that point, or can you latch on with the big draft package?
Yeah, the draft is so powerful here, so you can just latch on, but the overtake definitely helps, but the mixture of dirty air, too, makes it a bit confusing to get your braking markers down and not just, blow past the corner. So it's definitely a challenge, but it was a fun race.
Looked like a lot of fun from up here. AJ, what's the plans for the feature? What's the strategy here tonight?
Just going to stick with the pack again, try to get to the end and get to the pit stops and then see where we end up and just, hope we time the last couple laps right.
Awesome. AJ, always a pleasure, bud. Congrats on third. And who do you want to give a shout out to before I let you go get ready for the feature?
Let's give a shout out to Squid Gang Racing.
Awesome. AJ, always a pleasure, bud. Best of luck out there.
Appreciate it.
That was AJ Brenner bringing it home in third. Up next, we've got Mr. Ray Aguilar joining us in the second place spot. Ray, welcome back, and what a great shootout between you and Jaden.
Yeah, that was fun. It kind of it was more about the button use and the toe than it was about anything else, and I think we kind of figured out that Jaden had a better control of that. I hit the button at the wrong time. I thought it was the white flag lap, and it was 2 to go.
Now, Ray, we've been looking for it all season long. You and Callaway finally able to duke it out head-to-head. How much of a relief is that to have a great race, a clean race, and both of you guys race well and equally matched on pace here tonight?
It's the greatest thing ever. It's almost as good as like those great times in life, like when the Cubs win the World Series, things like that. It's when it comes together and you can race someone and not hit them. There's a couple second gap there where you forget you're not in a real race car.
Yep, the immersion takes over. So Ray, able to finish second, learned a lot in the sprint. How is that going to alternate the strategy going into this final feature of the season?
I don't know. I'm hoping the last race there we can kind of build a gap and then run through our pit cycles and figure it out at the end instead of pushing too hard in the beginning. And I think Jaden and I pretty easily can get a good 5 to 10 second gap going on in the first half of the race. So that's what I'm hoping to do.
Awesome. Ray, looking forward to it. Best of luck out there. And before I let you go, get ready for the feature. Who do you want to give a shout to that helped make second place possible for you?
My beautiful wife and kid, and my teammate Antonio, who's putting in the time and getting some points for us.
Awesome. Ray, best of luck, my friend, and a pleasure talking to you.
Thanks, James.
That was Ray Aguilar bringing it home and second, but Jaden Callaway interrupting you talking to the other drivers. Welcome back to the top spot, and the run continues here.
Yes, it does. That was a lot of fun. Spa is one of those tracks where if you can stay in the draft, you're gonna be fighting basically every lap. So I tried to fight Ray a little bit just to slow him down to see if AJ could catch up, but he was too smart to battle a lot, so we ended up just leapfrogging. But it was a good race.
Now, you and Ray are now the only two drivers who have had a 5-run winning streak here this season at League Zero. Can you make it 6 going into this feature finale?
I'm for sure gonna try. Like I said, if you can stay in the draft here, it's really, really easy to keep up with whoever's ahead of you. So I think it's gonna come down to whoever does the strategy best, but we'll see what happens.
And Jan, we were talking to Aguilar about this. It seems like the last 2 seasons we've been struggling to get a good, clean race between you guys, and both show your prowess. And it seems like this sprint race tonight was a prime example of you guys just putting on a league of your own and just very clean, hard racing amongst you two drivers.
Yeah, definitely. We both try to make sure to leave each other space. I know we've had a couple incidents this season, but this one, it was a good race between us both.
Well, we finally pulled that Target bullseye decal off the back of that #1 machine, so super cool to have you back up here 5th time in a row. And before I let you go, get ready for the feature, who do you want to give a shout to that helps pick up this sprint win here tonight?
I'm going to give a shout out to my team, Squid Gang Racing, and I'm going to give a shout out to Ray for the clean racing tonight.
Awesome. Jaden, always a pleasure, bud, and best of luck in the feature.
Thank you.
That was Jaden Calloway picking up the win here. The final sprint of the season. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. The season finale, the final feature of the event here at League Zero. Oh, Pearson gets into the 95 of Folks. Here comes the caution.
Flag is dropped here at Daytona, and away we go for the first time. Nicholas Porcel, Sean.
Looks like most get through unscathed. Look at that, there's Reed Gibson. A big move at the inside line of Dom's, possibly a little bit of contact.
Now, as we've got 3 wide action going through turns 1 and 2.
And they're underway. Eric Hahn takes a nice jump. Wilson hasn't let him go very far.
Go out here for Circuit Spa Francorchamps. Alex Johnson's off to a brilliant start there.
See just how oddly shaped this one is. We saw in the background Eric Hahn go for a bit of a swing, and he's gone and he's over.
New stuff. Cody Graham's the one-on-one up into 2nd place. Alex Johnson 6/10 lead at the moment.
They're dicey up front. There's Andrew Kessel, Justin Sang.
They are ready to go. The lights are out, and away we go for the very first time here at Okayama International Circuit. Finley Fitzsimmons.
All right, race fans, we are back. The season finale, the final feature event. Let's get them lined up and ready to go. As a reminder, the starting order for this feature was set from the finishing result of the sprint. We have 21 drivers signed up for this feature. Let's see if all 21 make it on track. And we've got our friend Dylan Waldron in the spectate area. He's got a great question. Who's everybody cheering for to pick up the last win of the season? We think the championship's locked up, but there's still bragging rights on the table here, ladies and gentlemen. Waiting for everybody to get out on track. Looks like Adam Plunkett, the number 40 machine's not going to join us, I'm afraid. It is Callaway and Aguilar on the front row as the lights get ready to dim. We are underway for the final time of the season. Keep an eye out. Callaway, Aguilar, Brenner want to get a breakaway from the rest of the field here. Something happened there to check up Aguilar and Brenner. As Jaden Callaway pulls 9/10 over the rest of the field. Oh, they are on the push to pass early on here. Now, we had absolute carnage on the opening lap. Do we get through clean? No. As that was Gareth McAllister taking an alternative line there. He's going to take a tow and retire from this feature event. Callaway still out front. Aguilar second. Brenner third. Zuhair and Brick round out the top five. So you heard the top three earlier saying they wanted to break away from the rest of the field. So I think if Aguilar catches up to Callaway here, not going to push too hard. I'm interested to see what Zuhair does as he runs in fourth, tucked in behind AJ Brenner. A quarter of a second off the back of Brenner's 80 machine. Let's also go back to Zachary Bowman running 10th. He's in a side-by-side battle with Elliot Conti's 23 machine. Elliot had a very rough go in the sprint. He's a newcomer here at League Zero. We know he has pace, but needs to focus on the racecraft. Bowman pushes a little bit wide there. There goes Michael Fairchild working his way up into the 11th place position. Nick Peterson's going to muscle his way through. Callaway up front. Fastest lap of the race, but we're going to get the momentum built up. Brenner and Zuhair are going to go side by side. That's going to cost them a little bit of time, though. They're going to fall 1.3 seconds back behind the top two drivers. And up front, you can see Aguilar and Callaway side by side. So we thought these guys were going to kind of play it safe, you know, work on staying in line, not push too hard. But that does not seem to be the case here. I also wonder as well, are they leapfrogging to try and put more of a gap on the rest of the field? Kyle Deckard's getting some love from the fans out here tonight. Deckard in the 53. He's up 2 spots thus far, but a big blink there from Deckard as he's trying to track down Craig Brick. Deckard, the 53's had issues so far tonight. Unfortunately, it does not appear to be getting better. Nicholas Marshall joined us here asking, what's the flashing light mean on the halo of these cars? Trying to see if I can find somebody on the button here. There we go. There's Shazi Zuhair. He's got a slow blinking light on the top of his halo. So in these Super Formula machines, drivers have what is a push-to-pass. You hit the magic button, it opens up a little bit more power, and you can put down some additional pace. When you see a driver with that halo or the rear tail light rapidly blinking, it means the push-to-pass is currently engaged. If it's slow blinking, there we go. Shazi Zuhair on the push-to-pass, the fast blinking, showing that he is on the magic button. So you got the fast blinking showing drivers currently on the button. Slow blinking, meaning that they are recharging their use of the magic button. And if the halo is completely dim, no lights on, nobody's home, that means that driver has expended all the push-to-pass for the event. Each race drivers are allotted 200 seconds of push-to-pass. Now, one thing we don't know up here in the booth is how much drivers have left. I would not be surprised to see Callaway and Aguilar wait until the end of the race to get on the magic button before they start throwing haymakers at each other. They've already built up a 2.7 second gap over the rest of the field. Bowman getting some mostly love from the fans in that 96 machine. He had a bit of an off-track excursion early on in the feature. He's currently down 7 spots from where he started. Started up in the 6th place spot, currently 13th out on track, first in our hearts. As Conti continues to muscle through the field, the number 23 machine. Uh-oh. Okay, it's Shazi Zuhair. I thought it was an incident, but Zuhair coming down pit road for a bit of an undercut here. As a reminder to the fans and maybe some of the newcomers watching League Zero supporting their family and friends out on track, drivers in the feature event have to complete 1 mandatory tire stop. Dylan Waldron asks for a cockpit view. Dylan Waldron will get a cockpit view on board with Ray Aguilar. Tucked in behind Callaway, closing up. Let's stay on board. Aguilar is going to take over the move there, battling for the lead. Oh, pushes a little bit wide. And now Callaway is going to be in second. They built up a 2.5 second gap at this point. A little bit of tire smoke there from Aguilar, hard on the binders. And this is one of my favorite views as a broadcaster. Shows how swooping and surreal and almost peaceful some of the sections are. And then it is hair-raisingly fast through other sections. Now, we don't think Callaway is going to use the push-to-pass here. We don't think Aguilar is either. I think they're going to wait as long as they can before they hit the button. But Callaway able to close that gap right up without the push-to-pass. The draft just so strong here at Spa. AJ Brenner going to come down pit road. Jace Meyer's going to come down pit road as well. Aguilar leads us across the line. And once again, it's going to be a drag race for the lead. Callaway's going to try the outside line here. Aguilar's going to fall right in behind. Looks like Craig Brick and Kyle Deckard. Oh, what just happened to Deckard? What just happened? Deckard. The iRacing gods were kind and then immediately took away. Icarus has flown too close to the sun as Deckard's car absolutely explodes here. So something happened with iRacing, making it think that Deckard was involved in an incident. Got a bit of reprieve and then immediately yard sale as car parts are scattered everywhere. A shame. Deckard was getting so much love and support from the fans here tonight to have to retire that 53 machine early. Here's the battle, 3-car battle for third shaping up. Bianchi in that final podium spot. He's being chased by Craig Brick and Elliott Cotti. Cotti trying to make a move against Brick here, not quite able to make it happen. And while that happened, Felipe Ramos, unfortunately, is going to retire from this event after an incident. Looks like Ramos is going to be involved in a solo incident. Loses the back end and just snaps into the wall. So for the fans asking about what happened to Kyle Deckard's car, for all the wheels to just spontaneously explode like that, if you remember earlier on, I was talking that he's been having connection issues. There's something called netcode in iRacing. This simulator program does a great job of predicting where 30 some odd cars are on track at all times. And that's what drivers from all across the world. We've got Americans, Italians, English drivers, Canadian, Brazilians, Aussies, all out on track here tonight. But sometimes the sim racing software doesn't make those predictions just quite right. So what I think we saw was the sim predicting Kyle Deckard, who was mid-blink reappearing. The sim thought he must have had some car-to-car contact, which is why the car spontaneously exploded on screen. The sim realizes, okay, everything's all right here. Magically puts it back together, and then unfortunately Deckard threw it away and then exploded the car for, quote, real that time. Ricky Espanino joining us here, cheering on the Inca drivers. There's a lot of them out on track. Aguilar, Callaway still back and forth every time they get onto a long stretch. They built up a 6-second advantage. Aguilar just sets the fastest lap of the race. Elliott Cotti down pit road. You can see strategies based on several different factors here tonight. Some drivers like Zuhair want to limit the time they spend on cold tires, coming in early for a pit stop. You'll have drivers like Aguilar and Callaway are going to wait till the tires start to fall off before they pit. And then you're going to have drivers such as Elliott Cotti running now 11th on track in the 23. Will opt to come down pit road if they think they can get some clean track, letting drivers ahead of them go. Callaway back up front. Aguilar second. Craig Brick, Antonio Bianchi are going to be battling for third here. Brick was working his way up into third, but Bianchi had a little bit better drive off the corner. Now, I don't think we've seen that number 7 machine on a podium so far in Craig Brick's Super Formula career. And he's one of those Inca-backed drivers that was getting love from the fans earlier. So keep an eye out on the bright yellow number 7 machine. Has been getting progressively faster, and he might be able to latch on to Bianchi here. We can grab an onboard with Mr. Craig Brick. That is what a 0.7 of a second gap looks like. As he wants to stay in the draft of Bianchi. Looked like Bianchi grabbed a little bit too much curbing there. But Bianchi still holds a 0.7 gap. Callaway, the fastest lap of the race, on 153.5, and that was clean with no off tracks. I'm curious to see if Brick can catch up here. Aguilar and Callaway side by side for the race lead ahead. Brick still about 3/4 of a second, so Aguilar's going to take back over the race lead. The game of cat and mouse continues here at Spa. The season finale sponsored by Mustard Seed Racing, our good friends, I should say, over at Mustard Seed Racing. And with 8 laps clicked off so far, I am fairly confident that Aguilar and Callaway are not going to be able to break away from each other on raw pace alone. These guys are so fast and so consistent. Callaway taking a little bit more of a swooping line there, maybe trying something different. And this is a long time for both drivers to kind of study their opponents. They've been swapping back and forth just about every lap. Able to see what the other driver's doing well, what maybe they're a little bit slower at. The games continue here at Spa. Callaway with a massive run up the hill, pulls up alongside Aguilar. Aguilar hugging the driver's right-hand side of the track, trying to make Callaway go the long way around here. Callaway is able to make it happen still, neither driver on that push to pass. I'm going to get a poll going up for our YouTube drivers, or our YouTube fans. But we've got a poll started here for the fans out in force watching the season finale. Let us know who's going to pick up the last win of the season. Callaway currently on a 5-race winning streak. He would be the only driver to make it 6 in a row if he can make it happen here tonight. The votes are starting to come in. Aguilar takes over the lead. Callaway's going to come down pit road. The first driver in the top 5 to pit. Looks like Antonio Bianchi, Nick Peterson also down pit road right at the halfway mark of today's main event. How long is Aguilar going to stay out for? As you've got Callaway, Bianchi, Peterson all on pit road. So now it's Aguilar, Brick, Fairchild, Bowman, and Tebow, your top 5. And it looks like Fairchild's going to pull up alongside Brick here in a battle for second. Fairchild moving up into second, that number 88. He's up 12 spots so far as our hard charger of the night. Always loving the retro livery on the number 88 machine piloted by Fairchild. Fairchild's teammate Zuhair running 9th out on track, but Zuhair was the first driver down pit road on lap 3 to take those mandatory tires. Now, Callaway was in and out of his pit stall 6.5 seconds with the fresh tires. We'll keep an eye out and see how long Aguilar spends on pit road when that time finally comes. Another battle going out on track. AJ Brenner working his way through the field. Getting around Matt Foster's 32 machine. Zachary Bowen, the 96. He's going to come down pit road for his one and only scheduled stop. Looks like right now the fans are all betting on Aguilar, who opts to stay out for another lap here. Fairchild still in second. We're still waiting to see when Aguilar comes down pit road. He's opted to stretch the run out. Right now, it looks like the top four drivers, Aguilar, Brick, Fairchild, and Tebow, have yet to box. Matt Foster, running 8th, also has yet to pit. And Fairchild's going to lunge back for second here and takes that opportunity to come down pit road. Oh, really close to the wall there. Aguilar stays out. He is 20.5 seconds up over Callaway. And really not utilizing the push to pass at all from what I've seen. So it's going to be interesting to see how the strategy plays out here tonight. So now it's only the top 3 drivers who have yet to pit. Aguilar, Brick, and Tebow. Shazi Zuhair, a fan favorite back in 6th, just clicked off the fastest lap of the race. A 1:53.44. Now, you heard us talk about in the pit stops how it's a mandatory tire stop. These Super Formula machines do not allow refueling during an event. So as the race progresses, the fuel load will get lighter and lighter. In some cases in the past, we've seen drivers almost running out of fuel before. In some cases, drivers did run out of fuel. There's some hurt feelings all the way around. Shazi Zuhair keeping the pressure on AJ Brenner. Both drivers on a similar pit strategy. Zuhair came down pit road on lap 3, Brenner on lap 4. We know Zuhair has great pace. I'm very curious to see when Aguilar is going to finally come down pit road here as Brenner's getting the momentum built back up. Aguilar, no sign of slowing down, clicks off the fastest lap of the race. Still holding 20.4 seconds up over Callaway. Craig Brick, Ryan Tebow, 2nd and 3rd down pit road. Jaden Callaway, though, is going to answer with the fastest lap of the race, a 1:53.21. Where is Callaway and Aguilar going to be out on track once the pit cycle is finally completed here? If we go back to 8th, it's a 3-car shootout. Fairchild, Brick, and Delmas putting on a show. And still, Aguilar stays out here. Gonna really stretch the run out. Callaway gaining about 2/10 on the race leader, that 72 machine. Aguilar still holds a 20.3 second advantage, but we've only got 6 laps left to go. Surely Aguilar's not going to wait till the very end because Callaway getting faster and faster. What's the lap time going to be for Callaway? A 153.33, 5/100ths of a second slower than Aguilar. And oh no, something has happened to Zuhair here. As he's waiting for some clean track, is that a solo incident for the 10? Zuhair, such a likable guy on and off the track. It's going to be through the final corner. Just lights up the rear and around he goes. Now, interesting, at this point in the stage, nobody is predicting that Jaden Callaway can make it 6 in a row. There's longtime rivals Peterson and Bianchi battling for the 5th place position. Aguilar still staying out. When is that 72 machine going to come down pit road? Could this be it here? No, Aguilar. A very interesting strategy play here. Now, the risk here from Aguilar is when he finally comes down pit road, he's going to be on cold tires, or comes out of pit road, I should say. Aguilar is going to be on cold tires, while Callaway is going to have a lot of heat underneath that number 1 machine. But it seems to be working. Aguilar still holding a 20.5 second advantage. Callaway, the fastest clean lap of the race, on 153.197. Now, the lap prior, Aguilar actually shows as a 152.97, but he had at least one off track. And look at that, Elliott Cotsey, a 153.08 clean. I think if we see that number 23 machine run a full season, he is going to be a contender once he gets it figured out. I mean, we've seen the same thing with Callaway. We saw it with previous champions such as Fitzsimmons. It's a little bit of a learning curve to get comfortable at pace here at League Zero. Antonio Bianchi fights back up into 5th, getting ahead of Peterson. Fairchild right in tow as well. 5 laps left to go. And I keep panning the camera back over to Aguilar here. Amazed that he is still out on track and has yet to pit. Surely he's not waiting for a caution that I don't think is going to happen. We whittled it down to only 15 drivers out on track for this feature event. And again, Aguilar stays out. A 153.23, that was his fastest clean lap of the race. Callaway answers with a 153.084, his fastest lap, the fastest lap of the race. Peterson and Fairchild have the gloves off here. And a heated battle for 6, but Fairchild, I think he's going to throw it away there, unfortunately. Let's see what happened to our good friend Fairchild. Kind of off in the marbles. And just couldn't get the power down, I'm afraid. AJ Brenner, Elliott Cotsey, both on the push to pass, get off it at the exact same time. So we've got a good old-fashioned battle for third underway. But I still have no idea what the running order is going to be since Aguilar has yet to pit. What's he gonna do? He's gonna stay out a little while longer. Let's check in on Jaden Calloway back here, sporting that number 1 machine, our defending champ. Surely he sees the live timing. Aguilar, the fastest lap of the race, a 153.02. And that's without push to pass from these drivers, I'm fairly certain. And you can tell Calloway spooling up the rear tires there is on the absolute limit of traction. He was a second slower than Aguilar that time by. But it was actually the newcomer, the young Brit, Elliott Cotti, the number 23, got down to the first driver, a clean 152.62. Cotti's going to move up into third here, getting around to AJ Brenner. Nice little block pass. Brenner pushed a little bit wide, kicks up some dirt, able to hold on to it. Let's see, does Brenner have the opportunity to fire back? Elliott recharging the push to pass. Brenner wants to try and accompany his teammate on the Callaway. However, that battle for the lead is going to unfold. Now, the other rule for fans to remember is you are not allowed to pit for tires on the final lap. So the pit window will be closing soon for Aguilar, who stays out yet another lap here. So I'd imagine Aguilar has to come down pit road next time by. He is way too experienced to accidentally DQ himself over a slight mix-up on rules. Callaway at 152.71, his fastest lap of the race. Elliott and Brenner have backed the pace down a little bit here. The field getting fairly spread out, and there is a little bit of lap traffic ahead for Aguilar. That's going to be David Iezzi in the number 29. David running 15th out on the circuit. The season finale sponsored by Mustard Seed Racing. Now during this, Callaway still hanging out right around that 20-second mark back. I'm interested to see what the strategy is here for Aguilar on why he is waiting so long into the race before he comes down pit road. We imagine it has to be this time by. And was that the push to pass I just saw going? Yes, it was for Aguilar. Maybe seeing he needs to build up a little bit more gap before he comes down pit road. So Aguilar is going to come down pit road. Now Jaden Callaway was in and out of his pit stall 6.5 seconds. In and out of pit lane in 32.6 seconds. Where is that going to put our top two drivers once the pit cycle is complete? We will all find out together. Aguilar's in his stall. 7.43 seconds. Aguilar, 9/10 slower on pit road. And there's Aguilar. He's going to be way behind Callaway here. So that's going to put Aguilar on the back foot. He's on the push to pass. But we saw this in the sprint as well. Callaway made sure he had enough push to pass to go the distance. After the straight, Callaway holding 1.5 seconds up over Aguilar. Aguilar has to be careful to not overdrive the car here in the final couple of laps this season finale. But Callaway, he wants that 6th win in a row here tonight. And it looks like Aguilar has backed off slightly. Aguilar's out on track with cold tires right now, too. Already at a bit of a deficit, notwithstanding the 2-second advantage that Callaway has. And now Callaway's on the push to pass. He wants to build up that gap between himself and the 72 machine. Now, we know the championship was going to be close here tonight, but I think with Aguilar finishing back-to-back seconds, I think that will secure the championship for the 72 machine. But it is never over until it's over here at League Zero. We've seen plenty of champions with our Super Formula drivers separated by just 1 point at the end. And it is the final lap of the final race of the season. And Callaway clicks off the fastest lap, a 152.555. Nice and clean for Callaway. And I fear that Aguilar has thrown in the towel here, as Callaway saved up that push to pass and is going to absolutely maximize the usage here. You see the fans looking on here, the Belgian Grand Prix. I'm curious as well, can Callaway go back-to-back with another fast lap? We've seen him time and time again set down some blistering fast laps very late in the race. Historically, at the end of the race is when we see Callaway truly show everything he's got in the back pocket of that number 1 machine. And there is a reason why he's the defending champ. Callaway is just plain old-fashioned good when it comes to open-wheel racing. As you can see, he has built up a 3-second gap over Aguilar. Gotta agree with Dustin Martinson. Callaway put in the work, a 3-second gap. And still on the push to pass here. And still gaining ground over Aguilar. Just a few short corners left to go for Callaway. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together. Jaden Callaway makes it 6 in a row here at League Zero. And once again, the fastest lap of the race, a 152.06. Callaway makes it 6 in a row, and you can tell he is excited. Aguilar brings it home in 2nd, and Elliott Cotti brings it home in 3rd. That's AJ Brenner joining his teammate. As we're going to try and get our top 3 drivers up here to victory lane. We're going to get these drivers up here to victory lane. We're waiting on Elliott Cotti, the number 23 machine, then we can get this party started to cap off the season. And it looks like the gang is all here. We're going to start things off with Mr. Elliot Conti joining us in the number 23 machine. Elliot, welcome back, bud. It seemed like the sprint race didn't go your way, but it seemed like Lady Luck was more on your side here in the feature.
Yeah, the sprint was not very good. Let's just say that. Messed up the start, then spun on the safety car restart and got taken out. So yeah,
Now, Elliot,
drifting to third.
I can't say you're not the first guy that's come into League Zero. Obviously has the pace and then takes a while to kind of get things dialed in, but what's the plan to try and minimize the mistakes going to the future? Obviously you have the talent to run up front.
Yeah, learn how to do a race start first of all. Then yeah, just minimize mistakes pretty much. Learn the tracks better, more practice, and yeah, I'll be at the front.
I think you named everything you can possibly do besides throw a bigger engine, that Super Formula machine. But Elliot, a newcomer here to League Zero. Great to have you up here. How quickly are you adapting to the other drivers and very skill set around you?
Yeah, I'm learning who's quick pretty much. Obviously, Jaden and Ray very quick. AJ's pretty quick as well. Got him, one of the last laps. So yeah, I'm learning.
Well, awesome, Elliot. It's good to have you up here in the League Zero top 3. A good way to cap off a season finale. And before I let you go and wind, I'm sure it's 6:30 in the morning or something over there, so we'll be brief. But who do you want to give a shout to that helped make it happen here tonight?
Oh, once again, my friend Salvador. He's not watching right now, but yeah, I'm sure he will in the morning.
Awesome, Elliot. Always a pleasure, bud. Good to have you back.
Cheers, thank you.
Thank you, sir. That was Elliot Conti, the newcomer here at League Zero, bringing home quite a great result with 3rd place. Up next, we've got my longtime friend, motivational speaker, Ray Aguilar. Welcome back, my friend, and I think you locked up a championship with this one.
Yeah, it was a good season, man. It was fun. We had a good battle there. The first half of this race was awesome. We were just trading back and forth. I think I got the pit cycle wrong, but yeah, super fun. I had a blast tonight. This is great.
Yeah, it seemed like a bit of redemption. I mean, you and I have talked in depth in the last couple of seasons where sometimes the bad luck can play a mental toll, and we both know Callaway went through that some this year as well. But man, it's just got to be a relief to get out here, race with good people, and just have fun again at League Zero.
Yep. The competitive part is super fun, but then it gets draining after a while, and you want to end up just having fun nights like this. So this was good. I'm glad to see. I mean, Jaden was smoking fast tonight, so I'm glad to see he got a victory out of this. He did have some bad luck earlier on in the season, and so like this has probably been a good last couple of events for him. He's pulled in the win.
Yeah, Callaway 6 in a row coming out of the season here tonight. But Ray, you talked about your pit cycle. What, hindsight being what it is, what do you wish you did differently with that pit stop or when you came down pit road?
I guess I should have come in earlier. I still don't know how the math worked out. Like, I got to look at the lap times again, but I felt like I had it pretty well covered on the late stop. I should have come out a few seconds ahead, but then that would have been soaked up by the cold tire laps. But for some reason, it was the opposite night. So Jaden was just fast. He's just on it, man. That's how it works. You can't beat the number when somebody's beating you on the track like that.
Yeah, no kid. We've been trying to tell the youngster, but he just doesn't listen. Ray, super cool to have you up here a bunch this season. A championship locked up for you. You'll be rocking that number 1 next season. But before I let you go and hang out with the rest of the crew here at League Zero, who do you want to give a shout to that helped bring home back-to-back seconds here tonight?
Instead of shout outs, I'm just going to tell you the people that I love. I love TGS and James East for putting on a good show. I love my wife and daughter and cat Daphne and everybody that shows up to make this fun at League Zero. I love you all.
Well, I'll speak for everybody. We all love you too, Ray. Good to have you back, buddy. And looking sure we're going to have you back a bunch next season.
Let's hope so.
That was Ray Aguilar in the top spot. Up next, the man of the hour, the first driver this season to make it 6 in a row. Welcome back, Jaden Callaway, with a dominant stamp on the end of the season.
Yeah, it's absolutely a great way to finish off the season. Ray and I were super close in the beginning. I don't think we were lapping so close to each other that it really didn't matter who was quicker here. But I decided to go for an undercut strategy because I remember that it worked last season, and thankfully it worked out.
Yeah, I mean, no doubt. And Ray and I were talking, the season for you was plagued by just misfortune and bad luck. You and I joked about in the sprint that we removed the bullseye from the back of the number 1 machine finally. and you're a very strategic driver from my experience calling your action. How does this season, the rough start and the momentum carried at the end of it, going to translate and roll into next season?
Hopefully, I'll have a stronger start to next season. I think I made some mistakes in the beginning of this season, and of course, I just had a bunch of unlucky moments. But hopefully, I can have a stronger start to next season and be back in it for the championship.
Well, Jaden, I know you've gained a fan with me up here in the broadcast booth. The fans, there's a few underdogs voting for you to pick up the win as the final win of the season. So shout out to those guys and gals as well. And Jaden, you've got the privilege, the pleasure, not only the final send-offs of the night, not counting me, but the final count out, the final shout out to the season. What do you got for us?
First, I'm going to congratulate Ray. He had a great season. Obviously, I would have liked to be a bit closer to him, but he was super, super consistent, super fast. So I'm going to shout out to him. Of course, I'm going to shout out my team, Squid Gang Racing, and I want to shout out to you and the guys at Team Goon Squad.
Well, thank you, buddy. I couldn't do it without you guys out on track. Congratulations, a great season, capping the season off strong, 6 in a row, and looking forward to seeing you back out on track next year.
Looking forward to talking to you again.
Thank you, sir. That was Jaden Calloway bringing it home, the last win of the season. But I would be remiss not to talk about Ray Aguilar, the Season 9 champion, leaving here at Spa. A well-deserved championship win, a great guy on and off the track. Really, I can say that about anybody out here at League Zero. So it's been a pleasure calling the action. So again, to reiterate, into the feature event, it was Jaden Calloway, the top spot. Ray Aguilar finishing second, locking up a champion. And newcomer Elliot Cotti rounding out the top 3. On behalf of LeagueZero.net, Mustard Seed Racing, the title sponsor of this season finale, my name has been James East with Team Goon Squad for the final time this season. Thank you all so much to our fans, friends, family, the drivers, the stewards, everybody who makes this happen behind the scenes. It's been an absolute pleasure calling the action. And with a little luck, I'll see you next season. Thank you so much. Have a great night, and I'll see you at the next one.